If you don't have the words to say what you want to say, it's difficult to communicate. In any language, learning words and phrases is the most important first step when trying to master a new language. At Mosalingua, we love trying to find better ways to memorize things. Over the years, we've developed new strategies to help you learn lots of new English vocabulary really fast. When you learn a new word, you need to remember 4 things about it. First, what it means, of course, but you don't need to translate it. It's better to think of a picture in your mind, and I'll explain that later. Second, how to say it. This is super important for English especially because you can't always figure out how to pronounce a word just by reading it. Third, how to use it. It's always a good idea to learn a few example sentences. And fourth, how to spell it. But if you're a complete beginner, you can skip this step if you're not really trying to master writing in English quite yet. Now, how can we use that information? Well, when you start learning a new language, it's important to learn the most useful vocabulary first. This helps you not waste time learning maybe grammar structures or words you might not use very often. As you know, when you use the things that you learn, they're easier to remember. So, how do we find out what the most useful vocabulary is? Well, online, there are tons of resources called frequency lists, and these give you the most common vocabulary used in each language. Or, to make things even easier, you can use the Mosalingua app. It already has these lists ready for you and gives you a great and easy way to memorize them. So, what is the most efficient way to learn and memorize these words? By using them, but it's important not to just repeat it 10 times in a row. You want to make sure that you're repeating these words over a long period of time. So, for example, after you learn a new word, repeat it again in 10 minutes, 8 hours, 24 hours, then in 3 days, 10 days, 25 days, and so on and so on. This method is called spaced repetition. Our apps are based on frequency list and this technique. You can download them and try them for free at the end of this episode. Spaced repetition is a very effective and tested technique, but some words are more difficult to memorize than others. Here are some additional things you can try along with spaced repetition to help you memorize. Connect the word to a picture in your mind. Now, for this to work, the image should be exaggerated, in motion, unusual, or emotional. For example, memorize the word foot by imagining a person with a really, really big foot. You could memorize the word stone by imagining a really big rock rolling down the hill. Or think of the famous band, the Rolling Stones. If you can imagine a cat reading a book, you definitely won't forget the word book. And if you can think about your own dog when you hear the word dog, it'll really help you remember because you have an emotional attachment to your animal. You can also create fun stories with words. A really fun way to learn difficult words in English is to make up silly stories. The sillier, the better. You can also create links with words in English. Another good idea is to learn words in groups. So, for example, you have hello and goodbye in English. These words are important to learn together because you'll probably use them in similar situations. Another great way to learn new words in English is to break down words. For longer words, you can normally break them down into 2 separate words in English. These are called compound words, and they're typically made of 2 parts. For example, we have newspaper. That's news plus paper. Another great example is tablecloth. That's table plus cloth. This makes the words and what they actually mean a lot easier to remember. You can also memorize words with context. It's always a good idea to learn words in sentences. If you can understand the meaning of a word in a sentence, you're much more likely to remember the word's meaning. It's also important to take advantage of the different types of memory when learning a new language. There are 3 types of memory: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. This means memories are related to seeing, hearing, moving, or touching. So, it's important to use all of them, not just one. So, when you learn a new word, make sure you look at it, read it aloud, listen to it, or write it down. So, our final tip, put the things that you learn into practice right away. The more you use your new vocabulary, the less likely you are to forget them. Try to use new words when you talk to people in English. You can also look for these new words when you watch TV, listen to podcasts, or even listen to music. Wow. We talked about a lot today. Let's summarize the most important points. In our opinion, spaced repetition is the best way to help you memorize things. Scientific studies have shown that it works really well, and we know firsthand from our more than 13 million Mosalingua users. We also talked about some other tips to help you memorize new words. For example, you can make funny pictures in your mind using exaggeration, movement, or emotion. You can make stories with words, you can make longer words into smaller words, you can group words by topic, and you can use all 3 types of memories that we talked about. Finally, the best way to remember what you learn is to use it. Have you ever heard the English phrase, use it or lose it? Well, that applies here when learning a new language. Thanks for listening. To find out the next steps in our step-by-step English series, follow our channel. I also recommend trying Mosalingua, a fast, efficient way to learn English. The link to try it is in the show description.